got into it, and he was calling me bitches. And I was like, you know how I feel about that word, and I've asked you several times to get that vocabulary out your mouth. And he kept on. So I said, call me another bitch. That by that time I'm heated. So I took a 4-lug wrench, and I somehow got him on his back, and I was over his head like this with the wrench.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spicy Divorce Party Planner TV show. I'm your host, Spice.
And it's Stella and Montiel.
And we are party planners. So today we have a very special guest, a friend of mine by the name of Myesha Brown. She works in the medical field. She cares for her mother. She's a single parent. She's had some relationships that have been difficult. So she has a lot to say, and she got a lot of energy, and she's a really nice and caring person. So we're going to bring her on right now. Everyone, welcome in Myesha Brown. So Myesha Brown is joining us right now. Hey, Myesha, welcome in.
Thank you.
How are you doing today? You're welcome.
I'm good.
Oh, good. We just did your intro, and we got like a lot of questions for you. First of all, we want to know, what city are you representing?
Eastside Long Beach, of course, born and raised.
Okay. And you got a friend over there in the same neighborhood.
Cool. Oh,
yeah. Where are you representing?
Long Beach, East Side. Compton.
And I'm out in Los Angeles. Yeah, we're all holding it down in California. This is what California looks like. All this goodness, okay? All different ages of goodness. And yes. So we got mothers on here, grandmothers. Okay, we're gonna jump in with Myesha.
Yes.
So Myesha, we got the first question for you. What was it like growing up in Long Beach, Los Angeles?
Growing up in Long Beach, it was good. I loved it. As a little girl, I mean, yeah, it was wonderful growing up in Long Beach. My family, most of my family was there. My uncle, Captain, Willie Fuller, aka Captain, he owned Gold Coast Mufflers on 20th Street. So my family owned a lot of businesses, and yeah, it was wonderful growing up in Long Beach. I'm proud of my city.
Hey, that's nice. I wish I would have known you with all my different car problems
that
I've been through in life. Like, I wish I could have.
Captain was the
I've
man.
had muffler problems too. Now, I know Well, what are some of your favorite moments out in Long Beach?
My favorite moments, the positive or negative? Let me see. Favorite moments is, just being around family and friends. Memories, let me see. Riding my BMX bike that my mom bought me. Of course, it was blue because it's Crip City. Going to the park with my father, Kings Park. I used to go with my father and, just chill, swings, the park area, swimming pool. But the majority of the time, I was
know exactly where that is. I used to live right down there.
Yeah. But the majority of the time, I was like in church most of the time.
Wonderful.
That's good.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Yeah.
How did you get involved with being a Crip? Like, how did you become a part of that?
Well, of course, I have family members from Insane and 20s. I kind of like grew up in that realm. My dad, he
Okay.
Yeah, my dad, he was affiliated. My mother wasn't. So yeah, that's how I was surrounded by it, and that's where I grew up, how I grew up and what I knew.
You feel about living in a city like Los Angeles that has a lot of national headline news, like riots and celebrities and things that live in Los Angeles and even Long Beach as well?
Well, I have a lot of celebrities, people in the entertainment business that's within my family. My uncle Lee, my cousin Shantae, my cousin Snoop. Um, it's just they're musicians, singers. My pattern side of the family, and my uncle Ricky Harris, who is a old school comedian. I'm not too starstruck, if that makes any sense, because I've been around people, basically celebrities, all of my life. When I moved from Long Beach to down here in Hawthorne, Los Angeles, it was a big difference. It was a culture shock. I've never seen like so many cultures mixed in, because in Long Beach, you don't see all of that. You have the Samoans, you have the Hispanics and the Asians, and of course, quote unquote, Blacks. So yeah, it was a culture shock for me. But
So
I
what's
kind of,
Hawthorne like? Hawthorne is just,
honey, Hawthorne
so
is
how
a
would you
mess.
describe Hawthorne? What?
Woo! I thought Hawthorne would be better than Long Beach, but I've been in Hawthorne for, I'll say, maybe 8 years. It's a lot of crazy stuff. Helicopters every day, paramedic every day, people walking down the street butt naked. It's just a lot of weird stuff.
I see that even in Marina Del Rey. That's just LA altogether.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness.
I see them out here. Yeah, ladies taking a bath in the water fountain and in downtown LA. I see people, men naked out there too. So Los Angeles just has like a lot of homeless, naked people. I've never seen so many in my life.
I work in the city of Lakewood, and you would think there's a lot of homeless and all that you're talking about in Lakewood.
Wow. Lakewood
City
used
of Lakewood.
to be cool, peaceful and cool.
I've even seen homeless people in Malibu, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah.
I think everywhere. A lot of them get out of rehab and they're walking down the street. They're everywhere.
Wow.
Every city.
Yeah, I left Long Beach because I said it was too many drug heads and too many police for me. So I left Long Beach coming here thinking it would be a difference. But I'm like, oh no, I'm just sick of Los Angeles altogether. I'm tired.
Me too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, you don't want to go to Arizona. No,
it's beautiful.
I don't know where it goes better at.
It's beautiful. It's just hot.
Beautiful. Everything is air conditioned.
Girl, it's 120 something right now. It's gonna be beautiful heat stroke.
But you don't have to go out during the day.
You guys go try it for a month. You guys go try it for a month, and then let's see what you say then.
I'm used to the. Well,
Myesha, since you work,
it's cheap.
It is.
You're used to what?
It is. I'm used to being in the South too. My mom is from Macomb, Mississippi, and it gets hot like Arizona heat. It gets hot like that, and it rains at the same time. So that wouldn't be a problem for me.
That's Pueblo too.
Okay.
Colorado. Wow. They rain like their summer's awful.
Ooh.
90 degrees and it rains.
Yeah.
114 and it rains.
Where, Delia?
Pueblo, Colorado.
Where at?
Sister. Pueblo, Colorado.
Okay.
The weather is hot.
Okay, I heard it's beautiful there.
It is, but it's hot and humid.
Ooh.
Yeah, I ain't trying to go there. It's hot enough here.
Yeah.
So, Myesha, I understand that you work in the medical field. How is that? How's that going for you? What are your thoughts on the medical field?
Oh my God. I should have left the airport 8 years ago. I was at the airport for 8 years. And it was rough. It's a lot of trauma there, a lot of like a lot of abuse that people don't speak about, especially the women. And I can't get all into that. Something just recently happened to me where I had to leave the airport, and I can't get into it at the time right now, but I'll get into it another day. But leaving there, going into the medical field, oh, wonderful. And more money.
Okay, good. Yeah, the medical field tends to make more money. I'm glad that you're happy at your new place then. Yeah. Because I remember last time you were at the airport. Okay, so things have changed.
Yes.
And Delia had some questions for you about the medical field as well.
Okay.
Yes. What made you pick medical and coding other than any other medical, like an RN or anything other in the medical field? What made you go to coding and billing?
At first, I was going to become a surgeon, but then after seeing what they had to deal with, my stomach can't handle it. As far as being an RN, I see what they deal with. My stomach cannot handle it. I have a very weak stomach. So with medical billing and coding, it's just paperwork, basically. You're filling out the codes, putting this with that. So it's a whole lot less squeamish, I would say.
Okay.
And I also do respite care. I take care of children with mental disabilities like ADHD, Down syndrome, autism, things like that. I really love it because I love helping people. I get it from my mom and my dad. They're big-hearted people. They'll basically give you the shirt off their back in any time. So I love helping people, and I believe the medical field is just right for me.
Beautiful.
That's nice. That's what I was going to ask. Is it difficult caring for the ill?
Sometimes it is. Like when you get children that parents are only really in it for the money, it's sad. I can't talk about the clients too much, but a particular incident, I seen the little girl, she's banging her head and doing some like sexual activity. And I'm like, oh no. I'm like, there was a girl working with her for a year, and I called her. I'm like, have you ever seen this, type of behavior from her? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, what do you do? I just tell her hands off. Have you ever reported this? No. And I'm like, okay, what kind of person are you in it just for the money? Or are you in it for her safety and her well-being? So I took it up on myself. I'm not a snitch. Of course, Long Beach people are not snitches, but I'm not a snitch. But in those situations, that's something that you have to report.
Yeah. So a baby, she's still somebody's baby.
Right. She still is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally understand. And that's a hard place for you to be in. Like, do I make this call or not? But I'm glad you did. I'm glad that you decided to act on that. Because a lot of people, I worked in that field before with young adults that had disabilities. And you see a lot of people, they just neglect them. They're in there for the paycheck. They just let them sit there for hours and don't take them on much activities and things like that. So it's really sad. So it's nice to have caring people that actually care for these people there.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Did you have another question about that, Delia? I thought you had a couple on that subject.
Yes, I wanted to ask you, how long you think you'll be in this, this profession? Are you wanting to retire, or you want to try something else in the medical field?
As far as retiring in this field, I'm not going to retire in this field. As I was coming up, my father always taught me, just because you accomplish one thing, doesn't mean that you have to stop there.
Right.
And that's end all be all. So I'm going forward with my education and going to be a mental health behavioral technician.
Wonderful.
Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Great.
So how do you take care of yourself, Myesha?
I was labeled bipolar depressant. I think it's level 1. So what I do is when I have like manic episodes or I'm feeling like I'm going into a deep depression, my mom is a herbalist. So she taught me to drink like chamomile tea instead of taking the medication. And it's another herb I take, ashwagandha. That's for to balance your mental out. So yeah, that's how I take care of myself. And if I feel that, it's going to be overwhelming for me, like a day I'll wake up and I'm all happy, but then it just makes a left turn and I feel that it's going to be overwhelming for me, I just become a hermit and just stay away from people for a couple of hours or a day and then come back out. Yeah. So that's what I do for myself.
Okay.
Wonderful.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. My sister gave me that same vitamin that you have, herb, ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha is wonderful.
Oh yes, it is.
Ashwagandha. It's good for women from head to toe.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and men can take it also. My boys need it. I'll make some cupcakes to put in.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever works and it's not hurting you. And I think I'm really worried about drugs too and medications. Yeah, it's good if you could take natural remedies.
Yes,
it hurts.
So what hurts?
No, I said it works, and also
it works.
It works, and also I'm an empath. If you understand what an empath is, like, yeah. I'm surrounded, like when I was at the airport, I'm surrounded by a lot of people's energy and I tend to soak it in. And when I get home, I'm upset or lashing out on, people. And I'm like, wait a minute, I have to regroup. And I'm like, I'm carrying on other people's energy. Let me regroup myself and go back and ground myself. Because it's a true thing. If you're an empath, that's what you go through.
Can I suggest something for you, honey?
Sure.
I don't know if you've heard about a bath salt, regular bath salt, just regular salt. And like you take a hot bath, put salt on it and that'll take all that negativity off. That's why they say it's good when you get home, you take a shower, you wash your hair because a lot of negativity stays in our hair because it's part of electricity.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And I do those things. I use Himalayan salt and I also use sea salt. My grandmother, she's a spiritualist and / Christian. My Auntie Lucy, she's a spiritualist / Christian. And they have taught me a lot of things. And when my dad was alive, he taught me some of those things as well.
Wonderful.
Those sound like nice rituals, honestly. I'm like, I need to do that. Yesterday I had to go put my pajamas on because I was just so hot and like,
poor girl, and you came from a lot from your daughter and all that going on. She needed some ashwagandha tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll get her some, honestly.
Both of you.
Yeah, true. So moving on to our next question, since we are a divorce party planner TV show, have you ever been divorced or had a rough breakup?
Okay. Nobody knows. Well, a lot of people probably still think that I'm married. I had a ceremony, but I wasn't dumb enough to sign the papers. And so the thing was, when it was time to go to the Norwalk, to the city hall or what have you, and do the paperwork, before we went there, I prayed and I told the Lord, I said, Lord, if this is, I know I see many red flags. My family has tried to warn me, but if you're real and if this is not what I'm supposed to really do, and this person is really, really not supposed to be in my life, let a disruption happen. So it happened. We got ready to do the papers. He lost his ID. We went back to do the papers. It was closed. The third time we went back to do the papers, something else happened. So we didn't do the papers. So basically, it was never a marriage. Right. To anybody that's listening, I was never married to James Derek Tipton. We only had a ceremony. My uncle said, well, if it's sure you really want to do it, let's do the ceremony and you can do the papers later, without me telling him my prayer. So that's what happened with that. I've never been married. It's just a relationship.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I know that.
Yeah, It was.
That's a pretty. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And I was with that person for like 16 years.
Wow.
You want
Oh
me-
my God, that's a long time.
I was with him for yeah, very long. I was with him for 16 years. How we met, I was 21. I had my baby son, Gabriel, and I was at the bank depositing money. He and his brother was in the bank, and he was whistling. He was, and I was like, I'm not about to turn around because anybody that's doing that to me, if you can't come up to me and approach me like a man, then we have nothing to discuss.
Yeah.
But the whistling was for the lady behind the window. So I was like, is he
okay.
whistling at you or me? And she said, I think he's whistling at you. I said, no, I think he's whistling at you. So when I finished with my business, I went to my car with my baby, getting ready to put him in the car seat, and he comes out to the car. And he's like, excuse me. And I'm like, yes. And he's like, can I speak to you for a minute? And I'm like, don't you see me putting my son in the car? When I put my son in the car, then maybe. So after I put my son in the car, we start talking and we exchanged numbers. And, I thought, he was a good felt person as far as spiritual wise. His spirit, it didn't give me any bad vibes. So after that, like maybe a week later, we began to converse with each other. I went over to where he was or what have you. And I knew he was under the influence of something, but I didn't know what it was. Back then, I didn't know what meth, PCP, I didn't know what those things were. I knew of alcohol, but I didn't know what those things were. So he came to my car and can I have a hug? And I gave him a hug. He said, how you doing? I'm fine. And he was like, can I have a kiss? I'm like, wait a minute. Now you're sending the red flag. So to jump ship, moving forward, we began to date or what have you. We ended up moving together. I never knew at 21 how to get my own apartment and stuff. He was the first one to show me how to get my own place because I was spoiled. I was given everything when I was young with both parents. So then we got a place on Chestnut in Long Beach, and that's when it all unraveled. That's when I found out he was on PCP. I found out he was on Sherm, and he was an alcoholic. By then, I was in love. And as they say, love is blind.
Yeah.
That was me at 21.
Yeah.
I was 21. He was 7 years older than me. And he's a well-known gangbanger. They call him Moon from Pope Street Crip. And I was just like excited. The adventures he was taking me on and, stuff like that. So I don't remember our first fight, but he used to call me, excuse my language, but bitches. I don't like that word. Never have. I never surrounded myself with friends that, we sit around, bitch, girl, bitch, I'm going to go do this. I never associated myself like that. So it was negative when it came out towards me. So we ended up fighting because I was also a fighter coming up. My uncle, Peter McIntyre, he was a professional heavyweight, lightweight boxer, and he taught me some things. My dad, he was a very high belt in martial arts. He taught me some things also. And my mentor, Cornbread, they called him from Insane. He was a mentor and he taught me some stuff. So we fought or what have you. And that fight, it just was fight after fight after fight after fight, almost every other day. When I went through his stuff and found out what he was on, I went back and I, talked to certain people. I'm like, what is that? What is this? And they're like, oh, that's crystal. Oh, that's meth. Where you get that from? Oh, that's Sharon. Where you get that from? I'm like, oh, my significant other. This is what I found in this thing. You should get rid of him. I'm like, oh, okay. But love is blind. I stuck with him.
Right.
My brother, Sway, aka Cedric Hall, from Fruitown, Piru, he seen myself and my sister had to come pick me up one day because we were fighting and it was extreme. So she came and picked me up. That was the only time she had to that wasn't the only time she had to rescue me. And as we were driving, my brother, he was at a corner street, and he looked, and we were like, hey, and my brother was like, and then Moon was walking up, and he looked at me and he looked at Moon. He said, y'all, you know him, Isha? And I was like, yeah, that's my boyfriend. He looked at me and he said, why, where the hell you pick him up from? I said, I'm in the bank. He said, I said, why are you asking me so many questions about this dude? And he was like, I know him better than you do. I've been knowing Moon ever since I was 18. We grew up together. And I said, really? He said, yeah. And he was like, nah, you need to. He was like, Moon, what you doing with my sister? And he was like, oh, Sway, that's my girl. And he just stared at him. And I believe he told him some words afterwards, like, don't fuck over my sister. You know, I know you. And the domestic violence that in your past and all of that. But we stuck together. I didn't have to because I had a roof over my head, but he didn't have a roof over his head. I slept in cars with this guy when I didn't have to, in alleys and on Plymouth Street, just, Linwood and a lot of places. And I'm not too emotional about it, but if I get emotional, just please forgive me.
It's okay, honey.
Yeah.
You're not the only one. Trust
We've
there's
all
other women that go through
that.
We've gone through a lot of bullshit. We've
all gone through it.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
But I even used to sleep in hotels with this dude when I didn't have to. And it was like, I knew, I have to say it was the Lord whispering in my ear, Myesha, that you've already been warned, leave this guy alone. But I kept on and kept on. And he used to like smoke sherm and, come back to the room. And it was like, have sex. When you're high like that, you want sex. Yeah. So by him, the way that I was taught up in my Christianity upbringings, it was like to be one woman to one man, be submissive to your man. But I was never taught it's supposed to be with your husband and not a boyfriend. And if they're if they're abusing you or, cheating on you, doing negative stuff to you or towards you, then you're not supposed to be submissive. So I was submissive to this man because of what I understood in my teachings. He would smoke sherm, come back to the room, we would have sex. It would feel like someone took a big bucket of water and just dumped on me. That's how it felt afterwards. Wow. And I'm like, this dude was just drenching whatever. Then when I tried to get up and go to work, like the next day, early in the AM, I was working at Long Beach Airport. So I would have to get up like 4:00 in the morning or what have you. He would try to stop me because I wouldn't let him use my car. He would stand in front of my car. I have hit him 2 times with my truck and my car because he would grab on my doors, banging on the windows, trying to stop me from going to work because he wanted to use my car because he was selling drugs and I wouldn't allow him to. I got tired of that. Right. There's been times where I had to leave Gabriel, my son, which Spice knows. There was one time he was chasing after me with a screwdriver on Chestnut. I don't remember what the argument was about, but he was high. He was chasing me and I had to run out the house and just grab my baby in this arm and just run down the street. So as I'm running with my son, I'm like, Lord, my son is heavy. I can't do this. I said, I need to do something. I can't make it to my sister's house. I can't make it to my uncle's shop. They're closed. So, and my uncle, Captain, AKA Willie Fuller, he lived in Westminster at the time, but his shop was on our end and it was closed. So I couldn't run there. So I'm like, I need help. Lord, help me. Yeah. So as I hit the corner on Chestnut, it's a residential area over there. So there was the first house I seen, and it still hurts me to this day. But the first time, but I just thank God everything worked out. The first house I seen, it had a porch and it was very dark. And I just took my son and I shoved him in the corner as far as I could. And I just prayed. I just held my hand out like this and I just said, Lord, let my son be safe. I said, you know what I'm going through right now, and I can't run with my son, but just keep him safe right there. So I put him over in the corner and I start running. Something guided me to just keep running around the block. So that's what I did. There was a Caucasian guy. Old, well, no, he wasn't older then. He was maybe in his 50s, middle 50s. When everything was finally done with the running, I happened to go back there, or either I made it back to my apartment on Chestnut, and my son was either brought to me or I went back to and got my son. But the man, he said he looked out his peephole or his window that was next to the porch, and he seen a baby in the corner, and he didn't understand. He said, is someone trying to play a trick on me or what? But the Lord, it was the Lord guiding him to open his door and pick up my son and take him in the house. He didn't touch my son in the wrong way. He didn't do anything negative to my son, because a lot of weird stuff goes on out, out. But he took care of my son. The police were called, Moon was arrested, and I think I left, but I still left my place and went to my sister's. It was one time my mom and my stepdad came out to visit. I had my 1995 Yukon truck, and he would tell me a lot of people would be jealous of you. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I'm kind of jealous of you too. I'm like, well, why? You're 21 and you have a truck sitting up in the air and you got money and you got it going on. I'm like, okay, well, there's no reason to be jealous of me. Just ask me how I get there. I'll put you on the level that I am if that's where you're trying to go. But my mom and my stepdad come out, to visit or what have you. And then I get ready to go take them to the store. I don't know. I went out to my car to take them to the store and my car was gone. I get a text message from him saying, oh, me and so-and-so are, we're out. We're going to look for some Sherm. I'm like, how did you, first of all, get a key to my car? I never gave you a key to my car. Oh, I went ahead and made a copy of it for myself. Okay.
No.
Yes. There was another incident where here at the complex, I slept in my truck with him and he wired us some stuff to like watch TV and stuff like that. So we're sitting there watching TV and stuff like that. Next thing I know, I think he had took some meth before we got in the truck to, chill and go to sleep or what have you. So then we got into it and he was calling me bitches. And I was like, you know how I feel about that word. And I've asked you several times to get that vocabulary out your mouth. And he kept on. So I said, call me another bitch. By that time, I'm heated. So I took a 4-lug wrench and I somehow got him on his back and I was over his head like this with the wrench. And I said, now call me another bitch, because it's like, I'm a cool, calm, collective person. I'm a Libra. We're very cool, calm, collective people. But when you hit a certain point after we're asking you, give us respect, then our temper is like that. So I took the 4-lug wrench. I'm over him like this. And I said, now I dare you call me another bitch. So he did it. And I took the wrench and I hit him with it. And he blacked out a little bit or what have you. And I said, yeah, I'm still here. Call me another bitch. And he did it again. So when he did it this time, he grabbed me by my throat like this real fast. And so I'm on top of him and he grabs me by my throat. And to the point, actually, he made me black out by doing that. When I came back to, no, I didn't black out right then and there in the back of the truck. He started running across the balcony and yelling for my mom, Miss McIntyre, come get your crazy ass daughter. Come get your daughter. She's crazy. And he's running, to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running in behind him with the lug wrench, and the police comes. So the police comes, and I'm looking, and I'm still mad, and I'm like, and the lady's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I'm like, she's like, talk to me, sweetheart, talk to me. And I'm like, and I look at her, and they were like, oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Where he at? Where that nigga at? And she's like, baby girl, I don't see him nowhere. And I was like, where is he? And I think by the time when I was running after him and I went over here to the exit door, that's when I blacked out. And that's when the police just came out of nowhere. And so she was like, the guy with police officer was like, have you looked in the mirror? And I was like, look in the mirror for what? I don't feel no burns on my face. What are you talking about? He ain't do nothing to me. And they were like, I think he like choked you. He could have killed you. And so I was like, you know what? F this. Y'all go somewhere. It ain't even all of that. Just get out of here. And they were like, you sure you want us to leave? I'm like, whatever. So I started walking, and I started walking up to the complex, and my stepfather looked at me. He came out the door. He looked at me. He said, baby girl, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right. And he's like, I think you should go look in the mirror. I said, why everybody keep telling me to look in the damn mirror? So I went to the mirror. All the white part of my eye was red. The only part you could see was my eyeball. Oh. And I just looked, and I went and picked up a knife, and I proceeded back outside downstairs to the exit door to find him. And so happened, I see his brother pull up in the car that was in my name, pull up in the car to pick him up, and he took off. Yes.
I'd be mad as hell.
Yeah, we have had
that's
fist
horrible.
fights. Yeah, we have had fist fights in cars. Like one time he was driving and he had a cast on, and he was driving or what have you, and I was in the passenger seat, and so he just wanted to argue with me. I'm not an argumentative person. I'm easy to get along with. You just want to start arguments because the drugs are messing up your brain or whatever, controlling you. So he's arguing with me, and I'm talking crap back, and he takes his arm and he hits me, bow, in the face with his cast. And I'm like, I know you just didn't hit me. Like, I'll hit you again.
Yeah, could have broke your nose.
And I said, I wish you would. And he did it again. And so I hit him in the face. I was like, oh, you gonna hit me? Bow, hit him in the face. And then he wanted to keep fighting. I was like, you know what? I know how bad this can get, and we're rolling in the car. He can run into a tree or what have you and kill the both of us. So I was like, you know what? I said, Lord, I'm about to do what I need to do. It was going at 65 miles, and I popped the door open, and he was like, Isha, what you doing? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm about to leave. I'm jumping out this car. You better pull over and let me out, or either I'm jumping out. And he wouldn't pull over. He just wanted to continue with the chaos. So I opened the door and I jumped out the car in the middle of the street. Of course, I was praying within myself as I was rolling. And I rode to the concrete and got out and started walking towards the police station. I don't know what street that is, but it was by the YMCA. I want to say that's Atlantic. It's a police station up there. But anyways, I walked to the police station.
That little place. Yeah, the little police station right there.
Yeah, that's it.
On the Lamo.
And I went in there, told them what was going on, told them I had just jumped out the car. And I believe my sister, she was my rescuer. Whew, I thank the Lord for her. But yeah, I told them what happened, and they made a police report. And I think he was picked up the next day or maybe a couple of days later. There was another incident. I was on Market Street, and I was over there with, just visiting my friends, family members, Tanya and Ronika, and, family friends. And he came in there. he came in there high, and I said, well, I'm protected because I'm surrounded by, people I know. They're not going to let nothing happen to me. They haven't let it happen before when I'm around them. So he came in there. I was upstairs. My sis Tanya, she gave me the room upstairs. Well, gave us the room upstairs. So I'm up there laying down, sleep. I hear the door open, and it's him. It's Moon. So he opens the door, and he wants to argue. I'm like, man, aren't you tired of arguing? I don't want to argue no more. But he wants to argue. So I'm like, I don't want to argue anymore, Moon. And so he leaves out the room, and no, I get up and I leave out the room and walk downstairs and tell my sister T, I'm like, T, he's at it again. She like, he at it again. I'm not gonna let nothing happen to you. And I'm like, okay. So I felt comfortable with her. And next thing I know, he came downstairs. She had left and did to go do something. He came downstairs, and I was in the kitchen by myself, but she had told me she was going to come back, but he came down too soon. So he came down, and he was like, I'm going to give you the count of 3 to tell me who you've been having sex with. And I'm like, huh? I'm around you 24/7, dude. The only thing besides work, I was around him 24 hours of the day. And he says, you got 3 seconds to tell me who you've been effing. And I'm like, Moon, you already know me. I don't have time for no mess like that. When I'm with you, I'm with you. But it's the drugs. And he gets ready. He's like, if you don't tell me on the count of 3, I'm getting ready to knock you out. And I'm like, this nigga, he ain't gonna knock me out. And I'm standing there like, dude, for real? I'm just like looking at him like, for real? And so he raises his arm to hit me. So I don't know. I ducked or I stopped it, and we began to fight. I was halfway out of my clothes. I had to literally run out the house. I literally had to run out the house half naked. There was like a little convenience store / mechanical shop right there. And I ran into the shop, and there was a man there, Hispanic guy. And I'm like, help me, please. Can you please help me? Can you dial a number for me so that somebody could come pick me up? And he got scared, and I understood his fear. And he was like, you naked. And I'm like, please just help me. He's trying to kill me. And he's like, no, you gotta get out. I'm like, I'm not a smoker. I'm not on drugs. I'm not none of that. I said, I'm a good person. Just please. So I guess his wife came out from the back, and she looked, she said, oh, Mia, no, what's wrong? I said, he's trying to kill me, my boyfriend. And she said, oh, no. So she hid me in the back of a part of the store until the police came, until my sisters came. And I don't know. I don't remember if they found him or they arrested him, or they arrested him later. But my sister had, the lady that was there, she gave me something to cover myself with before I walked out. And I jumped in my sister's car, and we took off. It's a million stories with this guy. I've been with him for 60 years. I was in a hotel.
I'm glad you're talking about it, because you're brave to talk about it, because a lot of women experience it and they don't talk about it. And how will anybody be able to help you if they don't know what's going on?
Yeah. And it was the incident when I was in the hotel. His friend was there. He was on drugs too. He took me in the bathroom, and it was like a little small bathroom, smaller than a jail cell. And he was like, I was standing there. You don't think we were about to, kiss and hug and stuff like that? And because he had called me, he was like, you should come up here. And I was like, come. He was like, yeah, come up here with me and chill. And I'm like, okay. I guess him took a hit before I got there. When I was in the bathroom with him, he stood in front of me. I thought he was going to, hug and embrace me. It wasn't the kind of embrace I was thinking of. He looked me in my face, and he said, who you been effing? And I was like, here you go again with this weird nonsense. I said, are you serious? He was like, yeah, I'm serious. Who you been effing? He said, I'm going to give you the count of 3, Isha. He said, I'm going to give you the count of 3. Yeah. He said, if you don't tell me who you been effing, I'm finna knock your ass out. And I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, he's serious. So he started doing the countdown. One.
Oh my God.
I was like, Derek, for real? He said two.
Crazy.
I said, oh my God. So before he could get the three, I popped that door open and I used to run track and I took off and I made it to my car. He was running behind me. Thank the Lord, I made it to my car, jumped in it and pushed the gas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Then,
so just because you're up in the bathroom, he did that? Just out of nowhere, huh?
Yeah, just out of nowhere. He told me to come and chill, and the chilling wasn't the kind of chill that I thought it was going to be. Like a love embrace relationship. He wanted to like knock me out. I guess make me fall back on the toilet. I don't know, but yeah. And then there was an incident. We were in a hotel room, and he used to take. I had herb capsules. You know the capsules that come apart. I had those, and he would put take the herbs out and put meth in them. And it's going to get deep, a little personal, but I'm here for it. He used to take the capsule, put the meth in it, and insert it inside of me before we have sex. And I'm like, okay. And then after the intimacy was over, he would say, you're a strong woman. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I get it from my mom. My mom is a very strong woman. No, Isha, you're a strong woman. I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Are you trying to send me a subliminal message or something? And so he told me later on, he was like, you know what? I used to take those capsules and put meth in it and insert it into you. And you see how I used to sit there and watch you? I'm like, yeah, that was weird. I thought you was just high. Just your mind was just zoned out. He was like, no, I was watching you to see a reaction from you. But that's why I keep saying you're a strong woman, because you didn't have a reaction. And I was like,
damn. So you didn't even know he put it in you.
I didn't know until after. And he told me, and I was like, wow. But after that, I had pregnancy complications. So I wanted to have like 13 children. I believe that I know it's the man decision, but I seem to produce boys and my sister, the girls, but it didn't happen. And I'm wondering till this day, is it because of what he did? Yeah. But, and then there was yeah, it was another incident, stayed on Spring Street, and he picked me up from work. I had my son and his son was in the car when they picked me up, and I was working at the Long Beach airport. And when we were riding, going to the house or what have you, I put out 2 pair of underwear. I was trying to find something in my bag, my purse, and I pulled out the 2 pair of underwear, and he looked. And I was like, oh, babe, these are 2 pair of underwear I was having. I was pregnant, and I was pregnant by him because I wasn't with no other man. And I was sitting in the bathroom one day at home, and I was like, Lord, if this is his child, which I know is his child because this is the only man I've been with, I said, if it's not meant to be, don't let it happen. And the next morning when I went to work, we were all in the little meeting that we have first thing in the morning before we begin our work schedule. And I asked my supervisor, Ron, I said, Ron, I need to use the restroom. I said, something don't feel right. And he said, oh, go ahead. So I went to the restroom, and that's where I had a miscarriage. I shed tears while I was in the restroom. I don't like people to see me really, cry. But I did put my hand in the water and picked it up, and I said, yeah, I could see the fetus. That's how I know it was a miscarriage. But as we were driving the car going to my place, he seen the underwear. I said I had a miscarriage, and I had to bring 2 pair with me and these pads, to catch the flow or what have you, the hemorrhaging part, however it goes. And he thought that I was having sex. He said, you've been having sex with your manager. And I was like, who, Ron? I said, Ron is the manager. Now, Ron, he was the choir director at our church. And he was married. And so he just clicked in his head and wanted to put Ron, saying that he and I were having sex. I was like, huh? Not Ron. You could have said anybody else but Ron. So instead of him pulling up to the house, he pulls up to the liquor store on Spring Street and it's like a brick wall behind the liquor store. So he's like, come on, let's go. And I'm like, okay, we going in the store. He takes me behind the building and pushes me against the brick wall. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? You been effing your manager. I said, you want me to call Brother Ron and ask him that? I mean, I don't like, what are you talking about? So he was like, I'm going to give you the count of three. It's always the count of three. You better tell me the truth. And I'm like, Moon, knock it off. Here you go again. I said, you hit me, I'm going to drill into you. I said, I'm tired of fighting with you, but you know, I don't back down. And he was like, one, two. And I was like, you socked me and it's on. And he got to three, but I ducked. And I was like, I pulled back from him. I was like, you need to, if you got 1 second to get back in this car, take me to my house and get away from me. So we got back there. I said, and the children are in the car. They sitting there in the sun. What is wrong with you? So we get back in the car. He takes me back home. I fly out the car. I had to leave my son and his son in the car in the backseat. And they were real young at the time. So I jumped out the car, put my key in the door real quick and closed and locked the door. And I just started pacing the living room like what to do. I've never been in a situation like this, you know, with this person. Yes, but outside of this person, no, I've never been through none of this stuff before. In a relationship, I have as a child, but, you know, I've never been through this. So I lock the door. He comes to the window and he tries to break into the window. And I'm like, he's like, open the door. He should open the door. And I'm like, no, I'm not opening the door. And he steady, open the door, demanding to open the door. So I didn't open the door. He said, okay, you want to play? He lifted the window up. He was like, this lock, I'm going to show you, this lock is not going to stop me from getting in your house. I used to be a thief, a robber. So I'm like, okay, I'm just sitting there looking. So he pushes the window up. Sure enough, he got the window half almost off. And I went to the hallway and like hit myself behind the wall. And I started praying again. And I was like, Lord, I know I was supposed to leave this guy, but please just have mercy on me once again, please, please. So within a matter of seconds, everything got quiet. You could hear a pin drop on the floor, basically, as they say. So something told me, maneuver yourself at the edge of the wall and look at the window. I was like, no, I don't want to look at the window. Is he in here? And something said, Isha, move. So I went and I looked, no lie. And I put this on my son and my life. He was laid against the wall, like the window like this, standing up, sleep. And it looked like a total demon. I looked and it scared me so bad until I backed up again. And I heard the Lord speak to me and said, I didn't give you the spirit of fear. You need to face your fears. Come from behind the wall and look at what I'm showing you so you can get it. You've been warned a lot of times, but it seems like you don't get it. Look. So I looked again and he's still standing on his feet, head against the wall, the window like this, sleep. And his face was like a demonic figure. And so I called the police. It spooked me. And I called the police. The police came, but I don't know. It took them a minute to come and he had snapped out of it and he was gone. And I was like, where'd he go there? No, he didn't snap out of it. He was gone. Before the police got there, I'm missing something. Before the police got there, he entered the window after he snapped out of it. He entered the window and he grabbed me and he took off my underwear and he started inserting his fingers inside of me. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just screaming, what are you doing? What are you doing this for? Who you been fucking? Who you been fucking? I'm like, nobody. And he's just, and I'm like, I hit him to get him off of me. And he got off of me and he started hearing the sirens. That's when he took off and left. The police came. I had to go to the hospital, get the swab test done. And later on, they caught up with him and they arrested him. He went to jail. He was trying to contact me, call me, write me, Isha, I'm sorry, I apologize. Please don't do this to me. I'm like, I didn't do anything to you. I said, you did this to me. And now you're sitting up in court because you have to face a judge because of what you did. You got to face the consequences. So basically, to get to the point of things, he's registered now. He's registered as a sex offender, and I still
Well,
stay with him.
maybe that'll make them wake up. Shoot, because they just keep doing whatever and whatever. Maybe now people see how serious it is.
He
Yeah,
still does the same thing. I've been away from him for 7 years, Spice.
that's good.
And
That's good. Yeah, it's hard because
it's
you're not the
good.
only one. Like a lot of women deal with this, and I
Mhm.
wish I was a counselor so I could give you the good advice of what to do. Because it's not just you; it's
Yeah.
like everybody we know, a lot of people we
Yeah.
know, and it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like the mentality that a lot of men grew up with. They think it's okay to put their hands on women, but there's some men that don't. And it's so nice to know
Yeah.
that there's some men who don't call women out a name. They don't put their hands on you. And there is a lot of men that are crazy because they're on drugs and alcohol, sometimes a
Yes.
combination of both. So
Right.
I thank God that you believe in God and that God's
Right.
Yeah.
kept you safe at this time.
And
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 after
I watched
7
like a lot of shows. A lot of women, you could have been dead a long time ago. Like first time, like all it takes, you hit something like a brick wall or something, or a corner of a table. Just the first time, you could be dead. So thank God you were
yeah.
kept safe this time.
Right. And after 7 years, I'm like, you're still stalking me after 7 years. If I go down here to the little store that I normally go to, like I went one day, he's sitting in a Suburban and he's watching me go in. I don't see him at all. When I come out, I hear Isha,
Mhm.
Isha. And I happen to look around and it's him sitting in the truck watching me. He would drive past my unit yelling out my son's name, Gabriel, Gabriel, I love you. Isha, I love you every day. And I'm like, it's been 7 years since I've disconnected myself to you. I haven't had sex with you. I don't receive phone calls for you. I deny even seeing you, and you're still stalking me. Now he's in prison for what? I don't know.
This is recent.
This is recent. He's in
This is
prison
recent.
now.
Okay, so he's out now. Oh,
No,
he's in prison now.
he's in
Okay.
prison for what? I don't know because I didn't write back. But he wrote a letter saying, "Can we be friends? Because I miss you and I'm out in 4 months." Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And I had to curse his mom out. I had to curse his auntie out on Facebook. I don't know if you ever seen that, but they were trying to, okay, when I broke it off with him, you guys deleted me off of social media. Now you're trying to be friend me. And then they tried to lie about it. That's when my Libra kicked in and I started posting pictures. This is you. And it says request friend. Isn't this you?
Yeah.
And she couldn't lie about it anymore. I said, stop trying to contact me for this person. Like, leave me alone. He's a menace to society. He's a sex offender, and he has a cool spirit, but the devil just takes over him completely. I'm not. No.
I was watching church today, and that's what they said. She's like, "Have you ever noticed like those people who kill people and stuff? It's like they're not there, like they checked out. It's like a spirit." I agree with that to a point, but then that also kind of gets them off the hook. Will be like, oh wow, that was a demon. But you still have some type of control over that too. So
right.
I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. And you're not the only one. So it's good that you say that, because a lot of women, we stay with these people because we have kids with them, or just feel like, oh, you've been around them for so long that you get comfortable with this person. You don't know what life is going to be like without them. And it's so hard to move on, because you feel like that's like your whole world.
Yeah. And I say that it led me, like I said, I've never been in an abusive relationship before until I met this guy, but I've been abused as a child coming up. And the stuff, like, I might as well get it out. Me being on the floor with 10 knees in my back and yelling in my ear, you got the devil in you, you got the devil in you. And if we didn't love you, we wouldn't do this to you. And my mouth is being duct taped. It led me into not knowing what love was. So that's one thing that opened up a portal for me to enter Batman. And then there was something that happened to me as a child by a family member, which disturbed my walk of life as well.
I understand. Yeah.
Are you in a relationship now?
I was backing away from it because it seems like the same face, not no different face, but the same kind of traits
Okay.
from the past relationship, except the hands-on physical abuse.
Right.
I don't like arguing. I'm tired.
Agree, honey.
Did you ever get to go to counseling, Myesha? Because they say women, we repeat the same cycle, maybe even men too. Like we keep picking the same partner in a different person. Have you been able to go to counseling?
I went to counseling with him
Or
actually.
support?
Yeah, his probation officer was a licensed counselor and very good. A lot of people go to him, and he sat down and he said, "I'm a counselor, and I want to. If you guys don't mind, I want to counsel you." So he sat down and he would counsel me, and he told me like, whoever did what they did in your past as a child, write them a letter, and you don't speak to them anymore. And I thought about it. I said, well, I am grown now. And he told me a story. But when he told me the story about one of his clients that wrote the woman a letter who molested them, she opened the letter while she was driving, and she read the letter, and she had a car crash and she ended up dying because she thought that he had forgot about it. But I haven't wrote that letter, but I have went to that person face to face as a 42-year-old woman and told him that you and I are going to have a talk, because he doesn't realize it's like you never apologize to me. I had to be around you every time, like my grandma's house, church, you playing deacon in church, but you didn't have the audacity to apologize to me, and you don't know how that disturbed me and the portal that it opened up, because it was more men, just men trying to take it. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're this and that. I know what I look like. My mom is beautiful. I got my looks from her, but I'm not playing no games with, he sucked up my relationship man life, but I have had counseling, but it still bothers me.
That's good, because I'm like, I think a lot of us, we're like, what do you do? Like a lot of people don't know what they should do when they're in that situation. Do you stay? Do you go? Like, and there's not a lot of outlets. So I think like counseling is probably the best advice, because they can at least give you some resources or some boundaries, things like that.
Yeah. Sometimes counseling works. My advice to like women that went through the same thing out there, it's different strokes for different folks. And sometimes counseling works for people. You can get as much counseling as you want to, but if you're not, you have to heal yourself within some kind of way. Because like I said, love is blind, first of all. And when we get into I prayed to the Lord and I said, Lord, let me have a relationship with a street dude, because that's what I knew. I wasn't out there in the street. I was very sheltered, but that's what I knew by being around my uncles and my dad and stuff like that. So that's what I got. But I didn't know the street dude came with a drug issue. So it was, I used to call my sister 3, 4 in the morning, just boo-hooing and stuff. So, I had a lot of counseling, but, I still struggled with it. And I'm able to sit here and talk about it right now. And I'm not tearing up and being all emotional all over the place, because I prayed and I said to myself, you have to be strong. Either you're going to let all this stuff that happened to you in your life set you back, or you're going to make it push. You're a Libra. Once, I speak on my sign because we're the type of people that when we encounter pain like that and trauma, we tend to take those things as the days go by and push it forward to open up something great for ourselves. Instead of just being emotional and being depressed all the time. It's many times where I tried to commit suicide because of these things that I've encountered. And I still have the marks on my wrist and stuff to prove it. But there's a purpose. As I got older, like in my 40s, I got older. Well, in my 30s, I wanted him to leave out of my place, and he wouldn't leave. And I said, well, either you're going to leave here like a man, or I'm going to have to take you out. It's just going to be win, lose, or draw. And I had my cousin come up there one day for protection. And he had his protection because he was like wild. You could, he had strangled himself one time and he was still kicking and doing the same stuff over and over. He's not a type of person
That's
that likes to
crazy.
give up. Yeah. So I said, my mom, she called and told my cousin she had to really talk to my cousin. Don't do it. Don't do it. He's not worth it. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, well, mom, I want him out of my house. Well, just try to talk to him. So I said, I have my cousin sitting in the living room. That's my ride or die. My father's not here anymore. So that's my go-to. And I
Good.
told him, I said, okay, my mom doesn't want you to, do no action right now. So I'm going to try to talk to him. But if I can't talk to him, I'm going to call his parole officer. And if they can't get to him, I'm going to call his dad, because his dad was always on my side, too. If I was in trouble, then he would come to my rescue. And he would be mad at his dad, but I'm a woman, and I'm free. I was 120
You shouldn't even have to be fist fighting with nobody in the first place, honestly. Even if you are a tough girl, you still shouldn't have to fight no damn man. That's the sad part.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I said, or either I'm going to call your parole officer. He was like, you can call anybody you want. And when he seen my cousin, he said, and if he do something, I'm going to release the beast. And my cousin, he's not, too much of a movable person, like a fearful person. So I just ended up calling his parole officer. They came there and they were like, she wants you out. Why haven't you got out yet? And he was like, I'm not going nowhere. This is my place too.
Yeah.
So they said, look, either you going to walk out here like a man or we going to carry you out like a hog. He didn't believe him. So he didn't have no shirt on. He just had drawers on.
Good.
So they said the one police officer the guy was trying to talk to him civilized, but he wasn't listening. The little Hispanic short police officer, he was like, man, we ain't got time for this. Come on. And his partner was like, wait, just wait. He was like, wait for what? You see what he doing? So eventually they agreed upon getting him out the house, and they grabbed him and they carried him out like somebody is carrying you like face down and your ass up in the air. They carried him out.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to walk out like a man. So that was the end of that. I left him, never looked back. Although I wanted to go back, I don't know. It was I say the soul tie. It's a very strong force to deal with. Yeah. But I wanted to go back. I was I was congratulated by my sister. It's been a year since you've been away from him. I'm like, yeah. And then I said, but I for some reason I got the urge to go back, but I don't want to go. So then this other guy came down the street in his car, and we heard, me and my cousin Jolena, which is Tamar, aka TK's mother. He's a rapper. Doing a lot of time right now, but she forced me to talk and go see what the guy wanted when he made a U-turn. But I talk about that part right there. I was like, I don't want to go talk to no more men. I'm done. Just like, you should just go see what he wants. I didn't tell you to fall in love with him. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I went to go see what he wants. But I bring that part up because once I got with that man, I never went back to Moon. I haven't had an urge to go back. I haven't had a thought to go back, and I have not been back in his presence. And I told him, I said, you're in my life for a reason. I don't know what it is, if it's because of that, for me not to never look back, but you're here for a reason. And that was the end of Moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes is someone you honestly. And you'll see like, oh my God, there's a huge difference. There is people that treat you better. Like you start thinking like this is just it, but there is people who treat you way better.
Yeah. I gotta put my charger. But yeah. But I haven't, I don't have no use for Moon. I mean, not use, but I don't have any urges for Moon anymore.
So and there's a lot of people that they go back. Why do you think people continue to go back?
Well,
why do you think they keep going back?
Know. Like I said, love is blind, and especially when you're young. It's like if you have not like really had a male figure in your life to teach you about men and the games they play and what to look for and all of this kind of stuff. especially like with the trauma that I went through as a child, with my
Yes.
family. It was like some people don't know what love really is. So they're trying to figure it out. And maybe their dad wasn't around, in their life at a young age. And they're looking for that father figure. Not so much as,
Yeah.
well, you got a lot of young women that walk around, daddy this, daddy this, daddy this, calling the men that they're with daddy. I'm like,
That's
was your father
Mm-mm.
not in your life?
that's
So,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not doing that.
I have one daddy. He in heaven.
right. Right.
Right?
That's what I
Exactly.
told him.
Yeah.
Man, I have one daddy and he's not alive anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Mhm.
So this thing
So
ain't
if
working.
a man loves a woman, would he call her out a name and put his hands on her? Do you think that's love? If he loves you, if he says he
Me,
loves you, would he be putting his hands on you or calling you a bitch?
I don't.
me personally, no, I don't think it's love at all. And some women, they like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
like
they're
I
crazy
told
out
one of
there.
my, yeah, like I told my cousin-in-law one time, I was like, this nigga keep calling me bitches. And I'm going to kick his ass
Yeah.
every single time. And she like, oh, you should get
Yeah.
over it. That's not the first time you called a bitch. I'm like, huh? I'm like, you might not like
Yeah.
that
No, have to get used to
ratchetness,
that.
but I don't like that. Right. I have
Yeah.
morals. I'm too beautiful for somebody to call a bitch is a dog. I don't have 4 legs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Very. So my advice to any young lady that is going through that with your man calling a bitch is that he's not respecting you.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
out of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy men. Do
Mhm.
you know any men? Do you know any men personally who do not call women bitch or do not put their hands on women?
Oh yes, I have. Well, my uncle Joel, he's one. He doesn't call his wife bees and put his hands on her.
Yeah.
I know gangsters. Like me, I'm a social person. I know people who walks of life, even the cholos with this tatted from head to toe. They don't say that stuff. When it comes to
Yeah.
calling them bitches, as hardcore as they are, you're like, yeah, they be fucking up and calling bitches and shit like that. No, they don't. And it like shocked me. I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. So there are guys out there that don't put their hands on women and don't call them bees? Okay. They show me a different
Yeah,
side.
because there really is people that don't. And I have more respect for them
Mm-hmm.
because you shouldn't have to even think about that type of situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and like my son and I, we had got into it one time, and I was like, "Well, what you want to do? Because I'm tired of arguing with you and going back and forth with you. What you want to do?" And he was like, he looked at me, and he was like, I was like, he squared up with me. So I said, we could take it outside, and he was like, we went on, was going on outside, and
Mhm.
he was like, Mom. He was like, no, I don't want to fight you. I don't put my hands on women. And he like put out his long arm to stop me
Good.
from hitting him. But my son is another one. He doesn't hit women
Okay.
either and call them out their name.
Good.
Like, Mom, I don't even like that word. I'm like,
Good.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't think women should have to be fighting men in the first damn place. It doesn't matter if you're the toughest woman on the block or whatever. We still shouldn't have to fight them. They should know better
No,
than that. We're not even built the same. You know what I mean? I understand
thank
trying to
you.
protect yourself, but we shouldn't even have to worry about a person who's supposed to love you shouldn't be putting their hands on you.
Right.
Exactly.
And I was going
Do,
to say
do,
that too.
do you think there's any solution to domestic violence?
Yeah. Leave. Get out of that. If you're in
Okay.
a domestic
Okay.
situation, get out of it. It's not going to lead nowhere. Either you're going to be dead or he's going to be dead or you're just going to
Even your
look
kids.
so up. Yeah.
Your
The
kids might
children
be
have,
dead too.
mm-hmm, it affects the children if you have children and they grow up to learn, oh, this is what I was taught. So this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah. What,
Mm-hmm.
what other advice do you have for women going through this?
Um, just if you're going through it, it's not worth it. And I can give women as much advice as I can as far as my experience in dealing with stuff like that. But it's up to them. You like they say, you can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink. But I'm telling you right
Yeah.
now that dealing with an abusive male, and it could be a woman too, because women abuse males too. Get
Uh-huh.
out of it. Just
Yeah, we
pray
do.
to your,
Yeah.
whoever, whatever you pray to, and just get out of it. It's not going to amount to nothing. You're going to be in the grave. He's going to be in the grave. Somebody going to die. Or just be messed up for the rest of your life, and life is too short. Enjoy it while you can.
What about the women, who stay with men because of like religion? They think like I'm supposed to stay with this man because we're married, or it's not good to be sleeping around with different men. What advice do you have for them? Should they stay just because they're Christian?
No, no. And if they're
Okay.
religious, like Christianity in the Bible, if you read your Bible, a man is never supposed to do anything like that to a woman. And the women, as us being women, we're the weaker vessels. Take that into consideration.
Yep.
You're weaker than a man. I don't care how much. See, like me, I've been a fighter all my life. I fought more men than women, and it's like. But I know I used to love to fight, and I knew how to fight, and still know how to fight. But sometimes it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Mm-mm. Get out. Is that
Yeah.
movie like that movie? Get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. What if the women are scared, like they want to leave, but they're scared like he might try to bite you when you're trying to get out the door, or like
There's
should they
a
have like
lot
a
of them out
escape
there.
plan?
Get a gun. Protect yourself.
Okay.
Don't be scared
Mhm.
to use it. Go through a lot of training and
Okay.
to protect yourself.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
in that before too. I was scared to leave sometime. I'll be honest, I was scared to leave, but
Hmm.
I was like, my family has been here to rescue me so many times, and I'm tired of putting them through it. I just stayed. I just stayed. Yeah. Looking for love in all the wrong places,
What
basically.
if the women feel what if the women feel humiliated? Because sometimes, like, how you said that you're out there with no clothes on?
Yeah.
So what should they do in that situation? Sometimes, like, they're embarrassed to tell their family what's going on. They're embarrassed to tell the police what's going on. Do you have any words to help them in those situations? Because sometimes men, they'll try to rip off your clothes so you won't run outside the house, or so you can't escape. It's like,
If they do that, run anyway. And you may not
Uh-huh.
see
okay,
the people that seeing you naked, you may not ever see again in your life. So run. Think
thank you.
about the situation
Yeah.
and run as fast as you can. If you have protection, turn around and use it. It's called self-defense. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. No,
Do,
thank you.
do
Mhm.
you agree that domestic violent relationships are hard to get out of, but also is it unfair for other people to say, oh, look at her, she's dumb. Oh, look at her, and it's not being in that person's shoes. We all think it's unfair for other people to talk about other women or even men who are being abused about what they would do, but they're not in that person's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I believe it's
Usually,
very uh-huh.
usually you'll get out eventually, sooner or later. Well, like you did. It takes
Mhm.
7 years. It might take longer, but I think eventually, hopefully, they leave that relationship.
Yeah. And I think it's very like if you know or hear of someone going through that, even if you see a person running down the street, Don't just assume and judge.
Right.
And like I always tell people, that could be you. You could be good
Yeah.
today,
Exactly.
person you with to switch on you the next day, and you'll be in that same predicament. And you're not supposed to mock people. And I do believe, some of the things in the Bible, like if you mock a person, the Lord can switch it around for you to be in their shoes, and then let you see how it feels to be laughed at, or oh,
So
look
true.
at that hoe or that dude running down the street. Oh, they naked. Oh, they on drugs. That's not always the situation. Run to that person, run with them, and find out what the issue is. Maybe you can help them, but don't sit there and laugh and mock them and talk about it. And then another thing, you wouldn't want to do that, because if you have children, it may not hit you, but it might hit your children. Might be up in the same situation. It's called karma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been with a sorry ex, and they seem like a man beating up on a woman. They didn't even do anything. But I've been before, like in a hotel, and I hear like a man beating up on the woman. I call the police. I don't care what no one says. Call me a stitch, whatever you want to say. But it's better than me knowing that I just sat there and the next door neighbor got killed.
Right.
Yeah. Forget that. I'm calling.
Yeah, it's been times. It's been times where I've seen women. The dude is just out in public. You be woo 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 woo. And I sit there and observe the situation, because you have to be careful how you approach other people's situation when they're dealing with that. So I sat there and observed it. And if it's something that I could not do, like get the female in the car, hey, honey, you want to go somewhere where you could be safe or something like that. If it's not a situation where I can involve myself, I'll sit there quietly. I don't like the police. I'm not a police lover. But at the same time, that's what they're there for. I'll call, hey, this young lady is being verbally abused by her dude, whoever she's with, or if vice versa, and make the report. And sit there until the police get there, and then I'll leave.
Okay. That's a good idea. So now that you left that situation behind, if you see a red flag in a person, do you give them chances, or do you go in the opposite direction? Have you learned, or like if you see a red flag, like they look like they're drinking every day, are you gonna give them some chances, or are you gonna go the opposite direction? Have you gotten stronger since this situation?
I can truly say I have gotten stronger. Like I even asked, before I say what I'm going to say, I was born, well, for those who know about the spiritual side of life, I was born with gifts, basically. As a child, it was too strong for me, and I dropped to my knees and I told the Lord, I'm tired of seeing this stuff. I don't know why you're letting this stuff come to me, having me see, bags flying in the air, something tapping me on my shoulder to get my attention. Stuff like that. I said, it's too strong. Can you please take it away? And slowly but surely, the Lord took it away. As an adult, I was walking up my stairs one day and something spoke to me and said, are you ready? And I was like, ready? Am I tripping? And then I take some pills or something. But I said, I just laughed. I said, Lord, I'm ready. Give it to me. Bring it full force. So when I encounter people, I don't see just one person. I see the other person, the same person, but another side of them next to them, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I get weird vibes. If I encounter someone negative, I get chills. And chills, like when you get chills in certain places, then certain places mean things. So I get like signals from the divine. And that's when I know, whether that person is right for me or not. But if a man is putting his hands on me in a new relationship, we're not going there, because I've been through so much with men, period. I'm liable to snap, and I might really hurt you. You may think you would be able to hurt me, but I might snap and end up hurting you. And that's not what that's not the person I am. I don't want to have to encounter something like that. So I just leave, walk away. Because I'm more scared of myself than that person.
No, it's true, because women, they say, like, even dogs, like maybe like a tame dog, but in the wrong situation, it could kill you. So same thing with a woman too. Like they're so scared or they've been through so much trauma. Like
Yeah.
it's like we either gonna survive or die. We're gonna try to live, so we're gonna do
Yeah.
whatever we can to survive.
They're in the survival mode. They're in the women
Yes,
are
there
really
you go.
now in the survival mode.
Yeah, look at
Right.
Burning Bed.
Yes.
Burning Bed is a true
Gotta
example.
be.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I always think about jail too. I said another man puts their hand on me, I'm liable to, my mind might just switch. But I'm not trying to go back to a jail cell because they don't cook the food that I like and it's too small and I'm claustrophobic.
Yeah.
But I said that if I ever had to go to jail for my life because of a situation like that, then at least I went for a cause. That's just how I program my mind. Yeah.
Okay. Do you observe or study your potential mates for a while before you hook up with them to make sure they're not alcoholics, drug addicts, or that they beat up on women? So are you like taking more time to see what type of people these are before you link up with them?
Most definitely. Yep. I find out their history. I go online and Google their history and pay the little $1.99 to get the criminal history background check.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I ask to meet their family. I want to know your mom. If your parents are living, I want to know them because that's going to give me kind of a direction of how you are, what kind of character you are because you were raised by them. I want to see your siblings. I want to see who you hang out with, your social crowd. And like I said, I'm an empath. So when we're around, we can feel energies and vibes, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. What would you do if your son was in a relationship that had domestic violence? Because now all three of us all have kids.
If my son, I told my son if he was in a domestic violence situation, first of all, he better not ever stay with a woman that put their hands on them. Because he knows if he comes to me, I'm getting that thing and I'm going over there to ask some questions. What's going on? Why are you putting your hands on my son? Nah. I told my son, but never to get in a relationship with a abusive woman. And if she's abusive to you, you come talk to me, your mom. But he doesn't want to do that because he know how his mom is. But yeah, for the most part, I just tell him don't do it. Don't get yourself caught up in a cycle where, oh, you feel bad for this person and oh, you can change them. You can't change anybody. It's up to that person to want to change themselves.
Amen.
Yeah.
True.
So, and if he needs somewhere to go, like if they're living together and she's doing this and they split up and she's trying to kick him out, and I'm here. I'm your mom. I birthed you, and you might as well use me while I'm still alive. Come over and stay with me. You don't have to depend on no woman, especially not one that's abusive. No. And I tell his girlfriends, every girlfriend that he has, I talk to them and I say, hey, I'm Gabriel's mom. I'm pretty sure you heard little stories about me, but I don't want you abusing my son. I don't want you taking advantage of my son. And don't cheat on my son because he has a very loving heart. If you do, then you and I are going to sit down and have a talk. And if I can't talk to you, I'm going to go talk to your mother. And if I can't talk to your mother, that's the last straw. It's just between me and her. She going to get whatever licks you put on my son, your mom's going to get. I tell them straight off the bat. So, yeah.
Okay. Good for you. Yeah, I don't blame you, girl. Like, I have my daughter's 26, so I it's good to hear like what other parents do and how they're handling their situation.
Yeah, because it's a lot of women that get abused, but it's a lot of men that get abused too. So
because we're not perfect either. That's why we're not perfect, and so that's why I suggest counseling because like. Maybe we got issues too, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we're provoking some stuff too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like slashing their tires and stuff. Like you can't slash someone's tires and don't think they're not gonna come running after you.
Shoot, girl, I wasn't even into slashing tires. I was into getting in the truck and running you over.
Wow.
Okay, I understand. Yeah,
Hmm.
we all go about it different ways. So,
Yeah.
on a different note, what do you enjoy for doing for fun?
For fun, now let's see. For fun, I used to enjoy music. I used to be, open up shows for different celebrities, stuff like that. Writing music. I was into cosmetology, so I would do hair. I kind
Okay.
of stopped doing that. Yeah, I'm 43 now. Like, I passed that down to my niece. So, I'm an adventurous person, spontaneous, adventurous. I like bowling. Before I leave this earth, I probably would go bungee jumping.
Ooh,
um,
I'll film you.
I
long as it's
watch.
on the water.
I'm gonna watch.
We might have you on. Okay, so we're gonna do some other scenes like that where some of the other co-hosts do some stuff like that. I'll call you. We're gonna do parasailing pretty soon too, so I'll make sure and hit you up for that.
Okay, wait, what's parasailing? Is that like in a balloon or something?
I, I, I yeah, I think there's a balloon and the boat is like pulling the balloon or something like that. Like you're in the sky and there's a boat going
Oh,
forward. So you're
that
like basically in a parachute over the water, over the ocean. So we do plan on doing that soon.
Get spice.
I'm
Oh,
for
look
it.
at Dahlia, because you're gonna be the one doing it.
You're in your show, girl. Let
She's
everybody see spice. Listen to her.
Dahlia's gonna be out there bungee jumping and
No,
skydiving.
I'm not bungee jumping. No, I'm not. No.
I know we go. We'll just film Myesha.
Oh, yeah.
So so how important is it for people to be involved in their family and have friends? Do you think it's important to be involved with your family and have friends?
I'm a
I've
traditional
had people
person.
that say,
No, go
yeah,
go
because
ahead.
I've had friends who say like, "Oh, you got to have friends." So I don't. But I've also watched YouTuber, and she's married, and she doesn't really have too many friends. Her friends is her immediate family, like her husband and her kids. So,
Hmm.
do you think we have to have? Do you think it's good to have family and friends around you?
As far as family, it's good. I'm a traditional person, so I love being around family. Except some family members can be your worst enemies, and so sometimes you have to separate from your own blood. So your friends could be like your family is supposed to be. So, like, yeah, I believe in having friends. Me, particularly, I have friends. I know a lot, over 1,000, 2,000 people from every walks of life, all walks of life. Like I said, judges, lawyers, entertainers, all of that. But I keep my circle small. I only have, I can
Okay.
probably count on both hands of my friend circle. I don't call everybody my friend because when I'm a friend to you, I'm loyal and I'm a ride or die kind of friend. And then you have
Yeah,
people
to the
that
point
take.
her car's getting towed away on my birthday. No, just like
Yes, yeah, you remember that?
Wow.
Dahlia, she came to my birthday party and she said her car got towed away. I was like,
Oh,
that's horrible.
no.
Yes, seriously.
I
So she's
parked
not
it, and
lying. She
next
really
thing,
did come through.
and LAPD
Wow.
pulled up and almost jumped in the tow truck. I pushed the guy
Oh,
out there and move out my way. I said, "You want to take my car? I'm about to take your truck." And then my sister was like, you know that's a felony." I was like, I had to have a second thought. Then the officer that was an Asian LAPD officer, he was wanting to go back and forth with me. I was like, I looked at his badge. I said, "Oh, you're LAPD." I said, "Oh, yeah, nobody likes you guys. Let me back up before you try to kill me or something." And he
right.
looked.
Yeah, they are
And
crazy. They
yeah,
are
but I
crazy
got my
out
car
here.
back.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah,
Because she did get her car back.
yeah.
Oh, so do you remember any dance moves from when you were a youth, like in high school or anything like that? Do you remember any
Dance move?
dances? Do you dance?
I know you got some good ones.
I'm gonna
Oh,
put some music
really?
on. Uh-oh. What is
No,
that?
no.
You have any dance moves? You can do some dance moves for us?
I'm shy. I'm 43, but I've still got a shy
No?
side to me. You don't catch me on a good day. I might
You
walk
you
for
don't
you.
have to, but yeah,
I know how to.
we have people do that because it like gets you some exercise or movement in the day. You don't have to. It's your option. But do you want to or not?
No,
You don't have
not right
okay. You don't have to. You don't have to.
What
Okay.
hobbies do you have? Do you have any hobbies like cooking or gardening that you like, or painting?
Ooh, no, being honest with you right now, I can't say I really have hobbies because I be so busy. Like work,
Okay.
like right now, everything is so high and stuff until you don't really have time for anything. But in
Right.
my spare time, I will say that I do draw. I love sketching and I love music. It takes my mind away from life.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's therapeutic too.
Yeah, it really is.
So, Myesha Brown, where can viewers go to learn more about you or to link
Well,
up?
I have a Facebook. Well, I
I
have a
messaged
Facebook,
you.
Myesha Brown. You did? Okay. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Myesha Brown, and I also have an IG page. I only let a select a few come on the IG page. That's
Ooh,
like
what's going
my
on
what
over there?
the heck is- You're so silly. But yeah, those are the two options.
Okay. So they're both underneath your name, right? Myesha Brown.
Myesha Brown.
Okay. Do you have any last words for an ex?
Ooh, Rex. James
Yeah,
Derrick
for an ex.
Tipton. James Derrick Tipton. I know that you considered me as your best friend, and everybody would call us Bonnie and Clyde. And everything, I will say, everything wasn't good, but everything wasn't bad. And you taught me a lot of things, just like I've taught you a lot of things. And you say you stuck on me because I taught you how to love, which is something that you were not raised to learn on
Oh,
your own. But we cannot be in a relationship anymore. Our 16 years of being together, like I said, it wasn't all good and it wasn't all bad, but I can't put my life back in that situation because I'm not moving backwards, I'm moving forward. And I can't let any male that has not got over the things, negative things in his life bring me down because I'm on a mission. So I will say I forgive you because I am supposed to forgive you. And really, from the sincerity of my heart, I have got over those things. They may come up, every now and then, but I do forgive you. I love you for, helping me raise my son because his father was never in his life. He wasn't ready to take care of responsibility. So I left him in 1999. I never looked back. And Derek was the one that stepped in and took on the role. Like if I needed uniforms, I worked 2 jobs and went to college all at the same time. So when I stepped in the house, there were piles of private school clothes almost to the ceiling with Derek, hey, our son, which he considered Gabriel to be his son, our son needs school clothes. I got you. Anything that I needed, he had me on it. But our time was our time, and it's time for you to move on. And I just pray that you get over your addictions and you find what life is, really about before you leave here. And may the Lord continue to protect you because it seems like he has 9 lives after everything he's been through. Yeah. And I just ask the Lord to continue to protect you as you do what you do, your life, how you live it. That's your business. And just we cannot do it anymore. I just want you to stop stalking me. Please stop stalking me because it's a distraction and it like kind not it makes me fearful, but I don't want to make the wrong move with you, if you understand that. So, continue with your life. If there's somebody for everybody. So continue with your life and, get some fine, a good woman, that you're suitable for, and go about your life. And my son, as far as Gabriel, he's not, what you guys, the bond that you guys had. He doesn't want to be bothered. He doesn't want to be um, in your presence. And he has already told you and told me that because of how you treated my mom, I no longer want to have anything to do with you. As far as your son, Samaj, and me, we have a close connection. He still calls me mom. And I never asked him to call me mom. He has a mother, and which is Nikki and Nicole Cleveland, and she's a very good person. I love her. We get along. We didn't get along then, but we get along. We got along at a certain point. We will all me, myself, and Samaje and Gabriel will always have that connection, but that does not mean that you're going to be a part of that connection. And you know what? Let me say this. The funny thing is how I used to go to Cal State Dominguez College, and I had a friend named Myesha. I never knew Samaje's mother, which is Nikki, and it happened to be Nisha's sister. And Nisha would tell me so many stories. I don't know why my sister stayed with this dude. He always abusing her and treating her like she ain't nothing. I just don't understand. He gonna kill her one day. Not knowing that this dude that she's talking about, I would encounter later on down the line in life.
Wow.
So, yes. Her sister, Derek, was her sister's son's father, and I ended up with him. And never in a million years would I have thought that. But yeah, it's a very small world.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes.
And like you just by what you said today, like it just reinforces some things for myself and for other people who are watching, our kids and other people that we touch in our lives. Like your story, they're gonna have to listen to this a few times, so maybe they'll get it.
I wanted to show her this. I want to give her something to cheer her. If you could see it, can you see it? Can we see it on the?
Sharing your story about like what you encountered with your relative, because you're not the only one. Just like a lot of women experience domestic violence, a lot of women have been molested and maybe some even raped. And it's not always easy for everybody to like come online and talk about it. But
right,
trust, there's a whole bunch more women who have. Well, they don't always say what they've been through, but a lot of women have been through a lot of things that you have been.
Yeah,
so I didn't want to skip over that because I did hear that. We just didn't get a chance to talk about it.
Yeah. But
all
like
right, so Delia,
my advice.
Go ahead, Myesha.
Any women, if you're out there and you're in that situation, if you need somebody to talk to, hit me up on Facebook, Myesha Brown. Hit me up on IG. I'm a busy woman, but I will take my time out to sit there and hear your story and talk to you as well and give you advice and try to help you as much as I can, because that's a very bad situation. But that's it.
It really is. Okay. Well, you have a nice weekend. I'm gonna go meet up with my sister. She's coming from Arizona. Delia, what happened to your bunny? Was your bunny gonna make an appearance and say hi?
Oh, well, I don't know if you'll be able to see her. She's a big ham.
I thought we saw her earlier when you were showing me.
Oh yeah, you did. Okay, she just wanted to say hi, but she likes to see herself on camera. I don't know who she takes after, but
tell Myesha about her, because Myesha doesn't know anything about your bunny.
Well, you can't see her, I don't think.
We can see her.
Okay.
When you tell
this is Betty. This is one of the characters from my book, The Tales of Betty and Bonnie. And she loves to see herself on camera. She has her bathing suit on. And, so,
I need her Oh, yeah. Okay.
She'll hit you guys up.
Okay. Cool. I'll be looking forward to it.
Okay, honey.
Tell her the name of your book, Delia.
Oh, The Tales of Betty and Bonnie. It's a book about autism. And it's all into a child's level
Maybe
of
she could use the book.
yes. I'll send you the info, sweetie.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, because she said she works with children that have autism, right, Myesha?
Okay. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't you
I
deal with
have
children that have autism?
Yes.
Or did you used to?
No,
Okay.
I deal with
So maybe you could
children.
get her.
Uh-huh.
okay.
Yeah, and
Wonderful.
I have my cousin slash goddaughter. She's autistic as well. So yeah, I've been dealing with autistic for a long time. But yeah, hit me with your book. I'll
I will.
spread the
Send her-
word.
Yeah,
Thank you
send the
so
link so
much.
she knows where to look at it.
I will.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you both. You guys have a nice weekend. I'm gonna
You
go spend
too,
time with my
sweetie.
sister.
Love you guys.
All right.
Be safe.
Oh, love you
Okay.
too. Thank you,
Bye.
Myesha. Thank you
Bye,
so much.
Okay.
Bye, girl.
Bye bye, honey. My
Thank
new
you.
friend.
Oh yeah. All right.